You know what? These days, a lot of news happens in the Arabic language, and having a fella who reads, writes, and hears Arabic is important. That's why Jonathan Halevi is so valuable to our show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You're a retired lieutenant colonel in the Israeli Defense Forces, and you grew up, your family came from Yemen, am I right?
Yes.
Which is an Arabic country. Of course, all the Jews had to flee the Arabic countries, and you're here in Toronto now giving us amazing exclusive video and other information every week. Tell me what news you have from Libya, the hot spot of the last week.
Libyan leaders declared Libya as an Islamic state, which means implementing the Sharia law, the Islamic law, including on women's rights. And after the declaration, they announced, the leader of Libya, the new leader of Libya announced that Libya will stay moderate Islamic state. The meaning of moderate, we have to explore to understand what is moderate, and is he really sincere in his promises to the West.
Now, we hear Sharia law in Canada, and I don't think people truly understand what it means. Who would explain to us, how do we know what Mustafa Abdul Jalil means when he says it? So that's a picture, that's the new dictator who was Gaddafi's justice minister for 4 years. Mm-hmm. What's he saying here?
This is the statement of victory, and at that moment, at that victorious moment, he announced to the public that any law that contradicts the Islamic law, the Sharia, is void, is not anymore valid. And that means he gave 2 examples for that. What does it mean on the ground? First, polygamy right now is legal again, and more than that, interest is abolished.
So bank interest yes. At a bank. Now, is it accurate to say that the Quran is the de facto constitution of Libya now?
Yes. According to him, the Quran, the Sharia law, the Sunnah, all the Islamic traditions which compose together the Islamic law right now is valid in Libya.
Now, let me ask you a question. In Egypt, there's a Christian minority, estimates vary 10-15% of the population. Is there a Christian or minority in Libya, or are they all Muslim?
Most of them, the great majority, are Muslims. Jews, the last Jew died in the mid-2005, I think, and the great majority is Muslims, more than 98%.
Now, tell me, during the commercial break, you told me a fascinating theory which I find very credible, and that is we all saw the YouTube videos taken by cell phone cameras yes. of the ragtag brigade that captured Muammar Gaddafi alive. He was beaten, I understand he was raped, and he was killed with a shot to the head. Now, I thought, well, that's just ruffians, the lack of rule of law. But during the commercial break, you said that it would also make sense if Mustafa Abdul Jalil, the new dictator, was worried that Gaddafi would say, oh, I accuse you, the new dictator, of being part and parcel with all my war crimes. Expand on that.
After the international pressure on the new Libyan regime, Mustafa Abdul Jalil came with new theory. He said that maybe loyalties of Gaddafi wanted him dead in order to keep close all the black history of the Gaddafi regime.
So Abdul Jalil, the new dictator, said, "Oh, Gaddafi's own people,
yes,
his own bodyguards killed him."
Yes, but it's totally unreasonable because the rebels surrounded Gaddafi from all, there were dozens of them. Nobody could touch him. And more than that, the new videos that were posted in recent days shows how he was treated by these rebels and how they actually killed him. And one of the videos, the 2 videos are very disturbing. This one is in high quality, and you see that the guy here on the right side really put Gaddafi in his face several times, injuring him, and later another one sodomized Gaddafi with a metal stick.
Oh my God!
So that's part, and it's really important because we can't see. There is no discourse about the war crimes committed by the rebels, and there's no one accountable for that, and they think that they can get out with that, get away with that. And I think this is a crucial issue that should be addressed by the international communities. Both sides, Gaddafi and also the rebels, committed war crimes.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we're seeing right here is the beating of Gaddafi.
The beating
and that was the raping of him. That's terrible. Well, I mean, he's a tyrant, but this is the difference between a country with the rule of law and a mob. Now, you showed me a document that suggests that perhaps Mustafa Abdul Jalil, the new dictator, has some blood on his own hands. That's no surprise to me. He was a high-ranking minister in a dictatorship. Can you hold up for camera one? It's on our screen right now. This is a document. What does this document purport to be? And what's the date? It says 2311. What does that mean?
2008, June 2008, is a document, official document, signed by Mustafa Abdul Jalil himself, ordering the execution of 32 people by shooting.
And who were these 32 people?
It's not mentioned in the document, but there is, it's dealt with another more than 100 people that are in prison, and some of them were sentenced to life imprisonment, and the others, the 32, were sentenced to death.
Now, were these common criminals, or were these political prisoners or opponents of the regime?
For this document, we can't know exactly who are they. This document was published by Algerian newspaper, which right now Algeria reveals some of the crimes that also committed by the new regime.
Now, what do you think the real story is about Abdul Jalil? Do you think that do you think he's affiliated with Al Qaeda? Do you think he's just a Gaddafi loyalist who made the right timing, the right decision timing-wise? Is he a tyrant in his own right? Tell us who you think he is. What's his personality? What is his affiliation? Or will he just accrue power and wealth to himself?
Abdul Jalil allied with Islamists, radical Islamists. They are really the power behind him. He appointed Abdul Hakim Balhaj, who was the Amir, the head, the commander of the Libyan group, Islamic, very extremist group that is affiliated with Al Qaeda. And this group give him the power. Another personality who was also commander was executed by Islamists inside the rebels group. So right now, I would say he is like a dummy that is controlled by others.
Now, we had Daniel Pipes on our show recently, and I asked him, I said, look, NATO pushed this man into power because I don't think that the rebels, they were quite ragtag, could have beaten Gaddafi on their own. But now that Gaddafi is dead, who is the military force? I mean, NATO isn't really on the ground. Who's going to fill the vacuum? Will it be these terrorist brigades? Will Russia or China come in? Will NATO have to put boots on the ground? I mean, who will be the actual muscle on the ground in Libya?
All the rebel groups were united under the command of Balhaj. Some of them were not willing to be under his command, but as I see it right now, he has a very good control in the country. There are still pockets of resistance, and taking into consideration that Saif al-Islam, son of Gaddafi, has managed supposedly to escape from Libya, that can mean that many problems are ahead of us.
Now, you also told us about a women's protest, or the fate of women. Can you tell us a little bit about what the life of women will be like in Libya going forward?
And speaking about Sharia law, first of all, polygamy is legal right now, and the Islamic law defines very clearly what the rights of women and men, of husband. The husband has the right to beat his wife.
So who's this right here?
He's a Bahraini scholar.
Must not cause bleeding or bruising. Don't beat her in the face. Yeah, so this is how to properly beat your wife. Is this the law in Libya now?
This is the Islamic law. And if they adopt the Islamic law, that's the meaning of that. The husband has the right to beat his wife if his wife refuses to have sex with him.
You know, we got to stop it there, Jonathan Levy. I look forward to seeing you next week as you bring us more terrifying news from the Ring of Fire called the Middle East. Thanks for being here. Hey.